am a neurodevelopmental audiologist. I have a background in special education. My master's and doctorate degrees are in the hearing science field. And I work with children that have auditory processing disorders. Well, Sue and I go back quite some time. One of her children was having a lot of difficulty and was in severe distress because he was having difficulty learning how to read and so forth. And he was in so much distress that he started saying things that normally children don't say, like he just wanted to leave this world, these kind of things. And I said, so Sue brought him to me, and I did some assessment with him and found that he had significant auditory processing disorder. On top of that, he had a number of retained infantile reflexes, and we're starting to see more and more children with retained infantile reflexes, and these reflexes are the foundation of visual and auditory processing. And a lot of it, I think, has to do with all the contraptions we're putting them into, and it's not maybe getting enough tummy time and so forth, but the good news is that there's a lot that we can do to remediate that, and the sooner the better. When Sue saw the changes in Johnny, and wasn't who is it that I've used his name, but when she saw the changes in him, and not only just in the auditory realm, but also the visual processing, that she was going for intervention with that, she realized how many children are out there that are also struggling in reading, who don't just have what we call dyslexia, but they have visual and auditory processing disorder. And these can be remediated. And we just kept kind of chasing, like a dog chasing its tail. We kept doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different outcome. If we get to the root of the problem, the child's going to have a much better prognosis. And Sue knows that. And that's why she wanted to get out there and advocate for this, so that we can get these kids the help that they need, starting as early as possible. Sue wants to try to get help for these children as early as possible. And she wants to get the intervention in the school system. As opposed to everybody has to go to a private consultant. It would be so great if we could address these problems within the school system and make it something that's much more functional and easy for, and this way teachers won't have to be as stressed trying to teach, trying to control, misbehaviors, attention problems, and so forth. That she wants to really bring this to light, because she also understands that a lot of children that end up not reading may end up in very undesirable places, including prison maybe one day, and that there's a high percentage of prison inmates that actually cannot read. And so this is a very big concern. We're failing them. We're failing these individuals. We need to start in the school system, the perfect place to do it, because the children are already there, and the parents don't have to drive them to all these after-school places to get the intervention. If we start there, we can have the greatest impact. The importance of Bright Minds processing is that it's bringing awareness to the community about children, even adults, that have visual and auditory processing disorder at the root of their learning disabilities. What I love about Bright Minds processing, and Sue in particular, who's spearheading all of this, is her passion, her drive, her motivation. It was like, as an audiologist myself and trying to manage a private practice, and I was raising 4 children, I didn't have the time and the energy to put forth that she has to bring this out into the public, to make this known, to not keep brushing this under the carpet, but to say, hey, this is a legitimate problem. These children, we can't blame them for their deficits. We have to take responsibility as professionals and as parents in making sure that kids don't just see 20/20 and hear what we call 15/15 in audiology. That's just the input stage. Normal vision, normal hearing, right, on an acuity test is not telling the whole story. We hear with our brain, we see with our brain, we process information with the brain, and we need to look at how does the brain process this information, not just simply visual and auditory acuity.